Hey guys, Parks Owsley here with Inven Global, joined by Big Brain, Silver Coach, Zaboutine for OpTic. You can put anyone out on the field or on the Rift
Yeah.
and win a game, I hear. So how did you? So we found out today. I imagine you've known for a little bit longer than 2 hours.
Yeah, it's maybe more.
that you were going to be playing this squad today. And then you came away with a win in the first day of LCS. So what's going on there? And just kind of walk me through that.
I think there is a lot of question marks on this. The communication wasn't very clear toward our fans, and neither no one got a really clear communication. And I can say even internal communication toward the players hasn't been perfect. It's just we have to deal with just delays coming from the visa. The visa situation, if I understand well, is not as stable as it used to be. So there's a little bit of delays. So right now we have 2 players that are still missing in our office, plus Kublai, our coach for the academy, who's doing an amazing job. I want to say it. I really like Kublai. And coming from that, I had to make substitutions because you can kind of play academy remotely, right? And just be on the North American soil, Canada, for instance. But you can't do this in LCS, meaning that I learned, I think, at the end of last week, we tried as hard as we could to get Arrow for week 1, and we couldn't get him on time. So we had to make a decision. And Neo is extremely fresh, right? We signed this guy during the season very early. You saw that he's really good. He's extremely good, extremely proficient as a player. But it's very hard to start in wrong situation, right? You want to start when you're ready, not because someone else is missing. That should actually help you grow. Because Arrow is a very good teacher. And we started scrimming with what we could. We decided to keep LCS roster, scrim with it. And Academy, on the other hand, did an amazing job. They started before us for some reasons, visa reasons. They played a lot of scrims, much more than we did. They had good results on stage. They had a good dynamic. And at the end of the week, as a head coach, you need to make a decision. And you have 2 choices. Either you make this gamble of just pulling the team that doesn't look perfectly ready and don't put, I'm not putting my 5 LCS player on stage week 1 and I just try to build something, or I just trust something that already proved that they can play together. And it's that way. I think Neo, that's just a domino effect. Neo has a really good synergy with Gate. And Gate has a very good synergy with Dardoch, and Dardoch has a very good synergy with Valorim, right? So, of course, Scarlet is really good. I think he's an amazing player, but he cannot play as well because he's not here. So Crown was anyway as much the same way as Neo. He was on stage no matter what, and Crown is just incredible. So I just made the decision saying we pick something that already worked and has nothing regarding the LCS players, Niship, so Dokla, Meteos, or Big, or anyone. It's just I pick, and this is my job, right? I have to pick what works for D-Day. And D-Day, CLG, I knew that the strength of this roster can beat CLG, and they beat CLG. So somehow I was right, even though it's not what our fans expected, even though we think we are a mess. I just want to say that this can happen to every single organization in NA, that North America and especially United States of America have a very strict policy toward visa and work in the US, and we have to be compliant with it. And it has nothing regarding the organization, right? We try as much as we can to make the best for everyone. We couldn't. And then in the middle of all this, you have to make a choice. I made this. It was successful. I'm happy.
That's a great point, especially at the end. You didn't go into, it wasn't January 1st and you're like, I have a fun idea for 3 weeks from now I'll just play the academy roster first.
I made the decision yesterday evening. Mm-hmm. Literally, we were playing yesterday. I took everybody in the room. I explained. I was like, we can't, I don't want to sacrifice the dynamic of guys that are going to play the first game in the LCS because of something that is not coming from the game. And I know, I'm fairly certain that what Kublai did with his part of the team, the relation I have with the players and the nature of the player can handle this game against CLG. I want to put them tomorrow. Mm-hmm. And it worked, so I guess it's pretty good, yeah.
Yeah, more credit to you for sure. I'm curious about your thoughts on just like fan interaction. I know on one hand it doesn't matter because you made the decision and you got the win, and Cloud9 last year made the decision to bench a bunch of people and then bring them back and switch around, and these things work when they're done well and when you have your reasoning and actually think them out. But then there also, the other side of it is you do want to have fans and you do want to have a successful brand, and that, the other part. Do you feel like, people should finally just figure out someday that you have a job for a reason, and there are things that they can't know and that they won't know? How much does that even go into decision making?
So I had a call with my top management just because the only trust I need is the trust from the people that hired me, right? I got a contract. These people's opinion about me matter a lot, because of course they give me a certain space and freedom and I can deal with it. But I think that the good communication between top to bottom, but as well bottom from to top, when sometimes things like this happen, we just all have to be in the same page, and this matters a lot to me. Then I'm not the marketing team. I'm not here to create a brand. I'm not here to develop the player's image or personas. I actually have not to care. The only thing I have to care about is how much the dynamic of the team as a sports team is going to perform on the long term, right? Because it's a win, it's cool, it's pretty fun, but on the long term, because the season ends around August, if not October. And you have to think about the big picture. You start slow, right? If you run a marathon, you cannot start with a sprint, right? You need to spare yourself, and this is the same. You cannot burn everything to get one win in LCS. So it's a global dynamic, and to be honest, I've been a caster previously. I've been playing competitively as well in the games. Fan opinions really don't matter. They just don't. Just for the sake of, so I explained this that way to my manager Keaton. It's like people they need someone to love and someone to hate every single day of their life. And internet is really well made for that. So if you lose and you should, if you win and you should win, people love you. If you win and you shouldn't win, people love you. If you lose and you should win, people hate you. And if you lose and you should lose, people laugh at you. Actually, they need one people to laugh about, one people to love, and one people to hate, right? Mm-hmm. And if you're a loser, like Team Coast, right? Team Coast 2015, 117 team, people were making fun of them. GGS last year, people were making fun of them. People hated us because we were supposed to do better, and so I don't really care, because this is the compulsive need from the audience to have someone to hate. And sometimes you just, it's play Counter-Strike and someone is just spraying and you just walk on the crosshair and you die. Headshot. That's it. So I made a decision, and if I lost today, everybody was like, this guy is completely washed up. He doesn't understand his job. No one understands his job, man. It is sports. It didn't exist 5 years ago. What are you saying? Yeah. No one understands. So I really don't care.
Well, that's fair. I appreciate that, the honesty. So what is kind of the thought now then? I know last year FlyQuest had a very similar problem with their mid laner, and it was like, maybe this week, maybe this week, maybe this week. Now, as far as I know, Arrow still isn't able to be here, and so you guys probably don't have information on, is he going to start definitively, yes or no? So what is your thought process now? I mean, you have one win. Even if you lose tomorrow, that's, the team has proven that they can continue performing. Are you looking more deeply at a 10-man system? Are you just trying to make some, like, one change, two change?
I feel like it has always been a 10-man since Summer Split 2018, when we brought the academy back to LA, because back then it was in Texas. I don't see anything change. I just found my 5 last year. I feel like Dokla, Acadian, Dokla plus Alorim, they were switching sometimes. Dokla, Acadian, PoE, Arrow, and Big was working pretty well. We went 9-9. We are like, I've seen the last match of the season. One of the thieves was 10-8, and we were 9-9. So it's not that far from an actual super strong org. So I don't think we failed with this. Sometimes you don't find it as fast. Sometimes the conditions make it even harder to figure out what you want to create for stability. What's important is, for me, is everybody outside understand that I'm not randomly making decisions, and it's not because you prefer a player to the other that the one that you don't prefer is dog shit, right? It can be just slightly worse or doesn't fit your expectations in terms of play style, but you can say this guy is bad, right? That's the core of the idea. And I think that I'm going to make the best choice, as I said, from the short, middle, and long term. You don't want to burn your player. You don't want to burn their confidence because, like, how do you think Medios and Dokla and Big are feeling right now? Of course, they're happy for the team. They're happy for the org, but they wanted to play. You know, the season ends like in August, and they haven't been playing on stage for like months and months. They really want to play, and I deprive them from the right to play. So it's not just about this or that or this player or this game. It's more about creating, as I said, a dynamic that works fine for everybody and trying to think. I want everybody walking into the office thinking OpTic is home. Mm-hmm. And I want to work for OpTic. Having the guys just cheering for each other and things like that's very important to me. And at the end of the day, everybody, including me, has to understand that it's an organizational choice, right? The org is above us. You can switch coach, you can switch people. The org says the org has the slot. So it's this that matters, and you need to create a dynamic and an identity for your corporation, and that's what I try to create with Keaton on a daily basis, plus the management.
And as bad as this kind of might feel for you, I think that this is probably the best team, you know, that could have some of these struggles because of how I see your system. And yeah, you mentioned last summer, you were also making a lot of changes along with Cloud9. And so maybe another team that doesn't really invest in their academy as much or integrate the two probably wouldn't have been able to just say, oh, you know what, we'll have the academy play, and in Crown you'll still play as well. Because, yeah, I mean, it seems like you have at least laid the groundwork to make that possible. So I do commend you for that. Yeah,
maybe and maybe not. I think that like it corresponds as well to how much you spend for your main team. Does OpTic has the same type of budget as Liquid? Probably not, right? So if you have the Liquid starting five, do you need a strong academy to sub players? It's better. I'm not saying it's bad. I think the academy of TL is pretty good as well. Mm-hmm. And I think that every team should consider having 10 men even for one game. Look at Viper, sub last year in TLA, right? Now he's playing in LCS. These players are capable of playing in LCS. You just need some trust. Neo won a game. He literally has no experience. He started playing pro like a few times ago. So I think that the more you have a 5-star starting LCS team, the less you need the academy. But as a team that wants to invest on the future and grow, an organization that want to maybe play it a little bit slower than a team like Under Thieves that spend a lot of money on like everything, you know, it's a very wealthy corporation. I feel like we have more a moderate spending but steady growing type of approach of the environment, and I think that it might pay in the long run. I cannot say it well, but I think that it might pay at least with the way we approach the thing. That's why we invest in the academy. That's why we have the 10-man roster. That's why we make substitution, and that's why I want everybody to be on board with that.
So I think the riders who are doing the little pregame, the stock show, they should be investing in the index fund OpTic team for the long-term growth.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, save your money. It's nice. It's anyway. Congratulations. Is there anything that you want to say? Just as a last words going forward.
I want to speak about two people. First one is Kublai, because obviously he's the head coach of the academy. So there is a significant part of the praise I get today that he deserves, right? And he's been really, really nice to work with. And I think that I want to thank Kublai. And the second thing I want to speak about Minho Crown a little bit, like just a word. I don't know what you guys think about him. I don't know what happened in Korea. I don't know what happened. This guy is so fun. He is so fun. I had the chance to have an amazing mid laner last year, right? PoE is an amazing player, and I still think he's incredible. And I'm not going to compare them because I think it's a wrong road to take. But I'd say that I don't understand why you say he's washed up. He's absolutely, and you saw it today, right? It was a terrible matchup because you need to dodge everything. It was just scripting, you know. It was just like casually dodging everything and plus 20 CS in a bad matchup. So I'm pretty sure guys were wrong. I'm pretty sure. Then there is the mental aspect, the consistency over the months, you know, the homesick things that you need to deal with Koreans. But at least right now, I don't know guys what you're thinking. I don't know what you are thinking.
All right. Well, thank you so much. I'm glad it worked out today. We'll be watching closely. And best of luck, really, with, you know, at least some clarity on the situation moving forward.
My pleasure. And, you know, if I don't communicate this, I'm not doing my job as well, right?
For sure. Thank you again.
Thanks.
And thank you all for watching. We'll catch you next time.